Hey, happy Monday. How is everybody? Hope you guys can hear me between not being in my office for I don't know how long and the copy guy is vacuuming our copier. So just a lot of things going on, right? All right, let me make y'all bigger. As you guys get in here, let me know you're here. Say hey. Let me know where you're watching from. Not COVID. Has anybody else had any bad allergies or anything in the last couple of weeks? Mine haven't been terrible, but I have been coughing. So it's been kind of weird. But yeah, say hey as you're getting on here. As always, we'll give everyone a few minutes to get on. It seems like forever since I've seen you guys, and so much has happened. I think I saw you guys, the week before Christmas. We took Christmas off, the office was closed. We still worked. We still had stuff to do, but we had it off the week of Christmas and New Year's off, and last week. And last week, my family and I took a little trip up to the mountains to an Airbnb for a couple days. It was splendid. It was so good. As you guys jump in, tell me you're here. I see a couple people from different locations. Say hey. And we'll get started in just a moment. This training today, I've had a lot of requests for. I was going to not do it just because it was supposed to be done before the break, and then we didn't. And then I didn't because I took an extra week off, and then we came back from the break. But during that break, I had so many people asking this question, my business owners, of when do I know when I'm ready to hire a tax preparer? So we are definitely going to jump into that today and chat all about that. So sip a coffee. If the vacuuming noise is really bad, you guys, I'm hoping you can't hear it too bad, but I know my mic picks up everything. So let me know. It's gone. That's good. So yeah, let me know if you guys are having any problems hearing me or anything like that. But otherwise, we will jump in and get started. So if y'all don't know me, I am Bree Beers of Bree Beers and Associates. I am a CPA with a goal to enlighten taxpayers and business owners on all things accounting and tax. Our team at BBA understands that y'all don't know what you don't know when it comes to taxes and owning a business and all the things. So our team is dedicating to creating all the tools we possibly can so we can help shed some light on all of that unknown. So one of those awesome tools is our Facebook group, Money, Taxes, and Finance for Small Business. If you are not over in that group and you are a business owner, definitely head on over there and join. It's free. It's just this amazing supportive community where we post daily tips and tricks to help you guys, and we provide multiple trainings every week. So in terms of trainings, every Monday at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, right now, this is our normal Monday live training session. This is the time where we talk about the topics what you guys are asking about most often. And then right after this at 9:30 Mountain Standard Time on Mondays, we go over updates and we do a Q&A for the week. So this week, lots of updates when it comes to the new stimulus that passed a week and a half ago. So if you are interested in hearing all about that, then you definitely want to join me at 9:30. So right after this. If you ever cannot make it to a live, or you want to watch a past training that you watched and want to watch again, all of our past videos are in the video section on the Money, Tax, and Finance Facebook group, or you can watch most of them over on all of them over on our YouTube channel. And I like the YouTube channel because it seems just a little more organized and easy to find things. Our YouTube channel, we also, you guys, have been recording and posting weekly tidbits. These are quick, 5 to 10 minute videos on the quick questions you guys are asking. So we just wrapped up a series, I think a 6-part series over there on all the taxes that you pay as a business owner, income tax, sales tax, how to identify if those pertain to you. So definitely subscribe to that YouTube channel and check those out. So if you guys remember way back before the holidays, we talked with my friend Courtney Baudet about when it's time for you to hire a bookkeeper for your business. And we kind of talked about the keys to look for and kind of to see and to recognize when, even though you might not think you can afford a bookkeeper, different ways to look at your books and to look at your financial picture to think, hey, maybe I can afford one right now. So today we're going to talk about when you should be ready to hire a tax preparer. So let's start by defining what a tax preparer is, because we throw around the terms tax preparer, tax planner, tax advisor, tax strategist, and they all can mean the same thing. They all can do some of the same functions, but they do have some differences as well. And so today we're talking about tax preparation. Okay, so when we talk about a tax preparer, we talk about the person that you're hiring to prepare your annual tax return, your income tax return. At BBA, we call that tax compliance work. So next week, we are going to talk about when you're ready to hire advanced accounting professionals. So that's virtual CFOs and tax strategists or advisors or planners. But today, tax preparation, tax preparers. So it's important to note that this can be one and the same. Okay. In fact, if you work with a tax strategist, that's what we do at BBA. We also do tax prep. Okay. But not all tax preparers do the advanced tax stuff. Okay. So that's kind of the important thing to note. So right now we're just talking about when you need someone to prepare your tax return. All right. And your business, when you're starting a business, we believe that a tax preparer and a bookkeeper are fundamentals that you should be hiring as soon as possible, whereas those advanced accounting professionals can wait till further down the road. Okay, so a tax preparer is going to take your business financials that you've prepared. Either you've prepared or your bookkeeper's prepared for the year. And they're going to take those financials and they're going to complete and file your tax return on your behalf. Okay, so if you are a sole proprietor, a single member LLC, an independent contractor, a gig worker, all of y'all, you're going to have your tax preparer file a Schedule C for your 1040. It's an additional form that just tags on to your 1040, your individual tax return. All right, if you are the owner in a partnership or an S corporation or a regular corporation, then you're going to have a whole separate tax return to file. And you guys, some tax preparers might also do your year-end bookkeeping. They might do a financial review at the end of the year. They might dig in and kind of help you sort things. But that's not something you should expect to be included in those services. That's something you need to discuss. They're called engagements. They're terms of engagement. Figure out exactly what it is you're paying your tax preparer to do. Because typically, like I said, a tax preparer takes your financials and sticks them into the tax return. They will make a couple tax adjustments, but that's it. All right, if you want someone to actually look into your financials at the end of the year, make adjustments, help you move things, not every tax preparer is going to do that. So you do need to ask what the scope of your engagement is when you're engaging with a tax preparer. All right, and tax preparers are typically a once a year relationship. Although I do know that the accountants I work with and that I have in my cohort are really trying to change the standard. We're really trying to encompass a year-round relationship with our clients. But typically, when you go, 90% of the tax preparers out there are going to be a once a year relationship, right? You give them your financials, they take them, they prepare your tax return, they give it to you to review, you review it, you sign off, they file, you get your money back or you pay your money and you're done till the following year. Okay. And then tax preparers, you guys, they can be CPAs. You hear the term CPA, which is a certified public accountant. You hear the term EA, which is an enrolled agent, or some tax preparers are simply accountants. Okay, those titles do come with varying degrees of education, and in my opinion, more importantly, a continuing education requirement. All right, looking back, so I got my accounting degree. So I have a background in accounting that goes before I actually went to school to get my degree. I was a bookkeeper for many, many years. And then I went to school to get my bookkeeping degree. my accounting degree. I think I graduated in 2011. And then I believe in 2013, I actually finished up I got my license. Okay. So CPAs have a certain educational requirement they have to get, in the front end. You have certain degree requirements, certain exam requirements, and certain experience requirements. But for me, especially when you're working with people who aren't brand new, to me, the important part comes in the continuing education. All right. Because what I learned in school, however many years ago I was in school, 10 years ago, is completely different than what the tax laws and rules look like now. All right, a lot of it's the same, but there are so many changes that happen every year, even in not big, eventful tax changing years. Okay, so when we talk about a CPA, an EA, and an accountant, they're going to have different continuing education requirements. Continuing education meaning how many hours of education do they have to sit in for in a given year. So as a CPA, you are required to take continuing ed. In Colorado, it's 80 hours in 2 years. This varies state to state, but typically 40 hours a year seems to be pretty standard across the board. So that means your CPA is spending a week, probably more, but at least a week is required to spend a week a year learning about what's going on in the tax world, okay, in the accounting world. EAs, enrolled agents, are required to log 72 hours in a 3-year period. All right, so a little less, but one question I get a lot, hey, Wendy, one question I get a lot is what's the difference between a CPA and an EA? Well, EAs are tax specific. Okay, in their initial education and likely in their continuing education, they are tax focused. Whereas CPA's education and exams include tax and audit and business financial accounting. So there is an important distinction there. If you are looking for just tax help, an EA is great. If you are looking for someone to not only do your taxes, but maybe do your financials and be a little more involved in more parts of your business. If you need an audit, okay, that's going to have to be a CPA that does those things. All right. And then we have accountants. So there are tax preparers who have neither a CPA or an EA designation. Okay. And a lot of them are great. A lot of them know more than some CPAs I know and some EAs. However, the question you need to ask those accountants is, and I would ask EAs and CPAs as well, is how much continuing education do you do every year? Okay, ask them what their continuing education looks like. Okay, so again, I'm required to take 40 hours a year. And y'all, I take probably twice that. In 2020, I spent hundreds of hours learning about PPP and EIDL and all the CARES Act stuff. Okay, so I was way over my limit, but that's not always the case. Okay, so ask your potential tax preparer how many hours of continuing education they take. Okay, especially if you're hiring someone for the 2020 year, first and foremost, because 2020 was crazy. You know that. All right, so now let's move on to the $1 million question. When should your business hire a tax preparer? Yeah, I'm going to tell you that if you are a business owner or an investor, and you probably are if you're here, then you need to hire a tax preparer right away. Right away. If you're arguing with me, it's for one of two reasons. You're either going to tell me you can't afford it, or that your return is so simple and so easy you can just do it yourself. Okay, so there are two types of businesses that I will tell you can get away with doing your own tax returns, but could does not mean should. So when it comes to if you can afford it, guys, if you can afford a tax preparer, you should hire someone. Okay. If you can afford it, hire someone. I don't care how easy it is. Hire somebody. Okay. And we'll talk in a minute about why that's so important. But if your answer is I can't afford it, well, if you're in one of these two buckets, and if you can't afford it, you likely are in one of these two buckets, then I'll tell you that it's okay. Again, these are the buckets of business owners that I think can or could get away with not having a tax preparer. But again, even if you're in one of these buckets and you are like, well, I have the money to do it, okay? So the first one is new solo business owners, okay? New solo, meaning you are the only owner, business owner with minimal income and expenses and complexity. So new solo business owners with minimal income, minimal expenses, and minimal complexity. So this cannot be your reason for more than about 2 years though. Okay. You're no longer a new business once you're in business for more than about 2 to 3 years. Okay. So if this is you, then you should, even if you're brand new and you're just starting up, as you're creating your budget for the next year and the next 3 years, you need to figure out where tax prep goes into. And you need to hire it as soon as you have the money to do so. Okay. Tax prep and bookkeeping are two of the very first expenses that you should invest in after the cost of actually providing your goods and services. Okay, so when you're a brand new business and you start up, even the cost to produce your good or provide your service, a lot of times it outweighs your income, right? That's a new business thing. That's just what happens, right? And so you spend your first portion of being in business trying to just turn a profit, right? Total revenue minus your costs to provide that service equals your profit. You're just trying to turn something positive, right? Well, that shouldn't last more than a couple of years, okay? And then you should start to be able to add those additional expenses that make providing the cost easier or providing the good or service easier, right? So for example, service-based industry, right? My software and my employees, I have to have those in order to provide tax services, okay? Above and beyond those things, everything else is an additional expense. And so as we're starting to add on those additional expenses, accounting should be one of those things. Okay. Tax preparer and bookkeeper should be two of those first things you spend money on. All right. So that's my first bucket. My first bucket is my new business owners with minimal income, minimal expenses, minimal complexity, solo business owners. Okay. So if you are in a partnership of any sort, or you are, in an S Corp, or if you own an S Corp or you have a C Corp, you should absolutely be hiring a tax preparer from year one, because that's a whole nother separate tax return and a lot of complexity in there. Okay. Even with a simple return in those aspects, it's still complicated. Okay. And So then the second bucket is, even if you're not a new business, let's say you're a couple of years down the road, if you're a service-based business with basic income and expense structures, then you could get away with doing your own tax return. So we are talking, again, Schedule C business owners only. Okay. If you are any other entity type, you should be hiring a tax preparer as soon as possible. Simple service-based businesses. So if you service-based, meaning taxes, coaching, if you sell any sort of product, you guys, tax preparer. Okay. Because inventory and cost of goods sold and all those things gets messy. All right. And then you have to have a simple accounting model with very few expenses. So maybe you just have software, maybe some travel and some advertising, right? If you are able to track your expenses in an Excel spreadsheet, I think you're good to probably prepare your own tax return. Okay. Compared to using like QuickBooks Online or something like that. Okay. That to me is simple. So examples of service-based simple businesses, that's coaches, consultants, therapists, virtual assistants, photographers, a lot of my personal service providers, right? So my dog walkers and my wedding planners. Okay, so if your business does not fall into one of these two buckets, either new business with minimal income and expenses and complexity, or service-based business with basic income and expense structure, then you need a tax preparer. And I truly believe that if you are not in one of these two buckets, that you can afford a tax preparer. It's just a matter of adjusting your budget or adjusting your business model somewhere to find the money for that preparer. Okay. So I'm sitting here telling you need a tax preparer. Why, right? Your next question is, well, why do I need a tax preparer? Okay. So you want to avoid audit. All right. There, you are less likely to be audited by the IRS if you have a tax professional doing your tax return. Okay, it is a statistic out there. I didn't look it up. Usually I do, but it is. It's going to be done. It's more likely going to be done accurately, and because we have so many clients that get audited because they missed the wrong form or they put a number on the wrong line. Okay, just simple things that are super easy. They're super easy mistakes to make, you guys, because those forms are complicated. They are not meant to be easy. Okay, they are complicated. All right, and also having a tax preparer do your tax return helps you avoid audit. It gives you a second set of eyes on your tax return, right? If you're doing everything by yourself and you're the only one looking at the finances, okay, there's a lot of shortcutting and backtrack, just kind of shortcutting and there's a lot of ickiness that can go on when you're the only person touching your books. All right, because you just want to get it done fast, right? So, but if you have to have your books nice enough for somebody else to look at them and prepare a tax return, they're more likely going to be done right. Okay, you're going to take the extra time to make sure things are in the right place, that you're, on your profit and loss. And so having that second set of eyes is so important, so important. And then if you do get audited, your tax preparer should be able to represent you in audit. If that is a concern of yours, you do need to make sure you ask, because only certain types of people can represent you in audit. Okay, CPAs can, EAs can, attorneys can, and I think there's some other sort of designation you can get with the IRS to allow you to represent, but I can't remember. Wendy might be able to chime in here and help me, because she is a fantastic tax accountant, but doesn't yet have those designations. So she can probably help me there. But again, help you avoid audit, but then also help you if you do get audited, right? And even if they don't represent you, they can take those IRS notices, those audit notices, when they say, okay, the IRS says, I need all of this information. And you're just like, I don't know what this is. Your tax preparer can be like, yeah, this is easy. Boom, 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 and takes it. Okay. And then finally, again, it's that continuing education. Okay. Even when tax laws don't change, like in 2018, we have the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, okay, which was a total overhaul of our tax laws. Okay. A lot of those things expire in 7 years. There are rumors that Biden is going to overhaul it this year. I don't know how much. I don't know how likely that is to happen. We'll see. But even in years where there's not a huge overhaul, you guys, there are always moving pieces. Okay, there are always loopholes created for years. There's always pieces moving. Okay, so that continuing education piece, I cannot reiterate enough, is so important. All right. So that is that. I'm going to go peek. I see Wendy's here. Hi, Wendy. So Wendy said, I got to remember I can show. So Wendy says, I think any business should always get a tax preparer. I guarantee you're missing deductions. That goes back to the saving money. All right. I didn't say that. I just skipped that one. So why do you need a tax preparer? It does save you money. You guys, there was actually a study done. I can't remember if it was 2016 or 2018. Probably 2016, because I think I've been quoting this for longer than 2018. But there was a study of tax preparers, right? There was a study done of first year returns prepared by an actual tax preparer versus the prior year when the taxpayer did it themselves. All right. And it showed that over 80% of taxpayers actually saved money on their first professionally prepared tax return than they paid their preparer. So they saved enough in taxes to pay their tax preparer's bill. Okay, let that sink in for a second. So if you find a tax preparer that says, okay, $1,000, right? Let's say your business return is $1,000. What that's saying is 80% of the time, you're going to save at least $1,000 in expenses that you were missing or not accounting for properly or not accounting for at all when you were doing it yourself compared to when you have a tax preparer do it. Okay, so just something out there to think about. Because a lot of times, that goes back to the I can't afford it, right? But there's more to cost than just those dollars, right? So let's say it's $500. Let's say tax return $500, right? You're like, I do not have an extra $500 a year to hire a tax preparer. But if it's saving you, let's say you only save $200 in taxes, right? If it's saving you $200 in taxes, if it's saving you time, right? Let's say it usually takes you a day to get through your tax return. How much money can you go out and do in that day instead? How much money can you make serving your clients or creating, goods or services for your clients, as opposed to wasting that time on your tax return? All right. So your time has value as well. All right. So that is that. I don't see any questions. If you do have any questions, stick them in the comments, but I will go ahead and start, just wrap things up because it is 9:26. Perfect timing. This is just about where I want to be. So I've also been getting questions of if we're taking on if BBA, Bree Beers and Associates, is taking on 2021 clients, you can easily schedule a tax discovery call. You and I get to chat for 15 to 30 minutes. We get to talk about your business, what you're looking for in a tax advisor or tax preparer. We'll talk about that in a minute, and figure out if we're a good fit for you. Okay. And if you're like, I don't know, you guys, we are more than just a tax preparing service. All right. We aren't taking on new clients that just need tax prep. All right. We are minimal. We do things in a package deal, right? So it's an annual package, but what that covers is it covers your compliance work. Okay. But it also covers year-round support and unlimited access to our team. You have access to our private clients only BBA community, access to our portal. We do your quarterly estimated tax payment reminders. All of that is in just our even most basic Tax Elite package. Okay. But schedule your tax discovery call, chat with me. Let's see if we are a good fit for you, because we aren't a good fit for everybody, but we are a good fit if you are looking for someone to give you some support in addition to just your tax return, to also help walk you through, answer questions. You have those quick questions in the middle of August and you email your CPA and you don't hear back from them ever. I've been getting stories like that. Okay. That's not us. So if you are looking for someone available to answer your quick questions year round, if you want a team of accountants who are friendly and we don't make you feel dumb, there's no such thing as a dumb question. You're here. We've got you. We're experienced as heck, and we're current on all the 2020 legislation and how it affects your tax picture, all the things. All right. So there are links wherever you're watching this in the comments. There's a link to the tax packages if you want to just look at them and see what I'm talking about. And then if it is something that interests you, or you're already a client and you want to move to one of these tax packages, those are there for you. And then if you are new and you want to, or you're not a current client and you want to talk about becoming one, we offer those free tax discovery calls so we can chat about it. Okay. And my PPP and EIDL borrowers out there, things are changing. We have our Q&A and updates at 9:30. So in 2 minutes, we'll log off this call. We'll log on to that. You definitely want to head over there because so many good things came through this last stimulus package. But if you're an original borrower or you're looking, whatever your questions are, remember that we offer personalized PPP strategy sessions, right? 30-minute calls. So you can just sit here, pick my brain. I can help review your forgiveness application. I can help you decide if you want to apply for the second round. I can help look at your expenses and see if you've spent it correctly. I can do anything. You got my undivided attention for 30 minutes. It's a Zoom call. It's recorded. You get access to that, all the things. If you're not a DIYer, but you're ready to apply for forgiveness and you do not want to do that application, we do that as well. So you can check that out by scheduling a tax discovery call with me. And then it is time to jump off here because it's time to go to updates and it's going to be fun. So many things in the stimulus. All right, so I will see you guys. If you do not join me for the updates and Q&A at 9:30, I will see you guys next week at 9 o'clock. All right, have a great week if I don't see you.